Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we will be doing something that we've always done before, but we're just adding a new spin to it this year. We're gonna be going over my budget for the month of February. So if you are familiar, you will know this is my handy dandy budgeting book. I take this with me everywhere. I look at it every single day. But we're gonna just be adding another component, another layer going into the new year, and that's with digital budgeting. So I have my Excel spreadsheet that I've added on as another layer of accountability with my finances, but it's also nice to have visuals of my, expenses, my income and all of that, just like lovely bar charts and graphs and what have you. And it's also easier to do a reconciliation of my funds or of my budget in general at the end of the month, as opposed to like pen to paper spending 3 hours trying to like dot my I's and cross my T's. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm loving it so far, but if you are interested, we're just gonna jump right in. So let's see. I first want to actually share with you guys my January numbers. I didn't do a January budget on YouTube because I was in the middle of kind of trying to create this budget to fit my needs and everything like that. I'm pulling up my tracker. So, all right, if you look at this and you're just like very overwhelmed, just disregard. You do not need to have a budget that is this complicated. If you like simple, that is completely fine and dandy. You really just need to track your income, your expenses, and how much you're able to put to savings. For me, I'm at a point in my budgeting journey where I like to see where every single penny goes. I also like to kind of break down my expenses into more specific groupings. So this is just what works for me. But we'll go into my numbers for January. So let's start with income. So for January, I did bring in a total of 6,700. That's a combination of my base pay, my overtime money, and then I did get an added bonus from work at the end of the month. So that was a little nice closeout for January. So this is my total for the end of the month. Next, we'll go into expenses. So you can see I have a bunch of different groupings. We'll start with debt and periodic payments. So car insurance, I pay my car insurance every 6 months. So my premium for January was $467. In addition to that, I did have to pay property tax for my car, which totals this out to $608.49. So I actually paid my property tax in October, but there was a little situation and it just made everything so complicated. With me moving so they do property tax by county here in this state. So I had moved and they had somehow figured out that I moved, and I didn't realize to even I didn't even know I had to report it. But I had paid property tax for my previous county that I lived in October. So this amount that you see here is a prorate for the new county that I live in. So that's that. Going into my bills for the month, rent, utilities, phone, internet, all of that totaled out to $20.91. Going down to my memberships and subscriptions. So these are really my only subscriptions and memberships: my gym membership, Spotify and Apple, my iCloud storage, which totals out to $65.98. Going over to variable expenses, so giving. Usually I give 650. I went a little bit over for the month of January, so 725 is what we have for giving. Transportation, I've been working nonstop in January, which is honestly crazy to me, because I wasn't expecting it. So I really haven't gone anywhere or needed to, take Uber or anything like that. So we did well in this category. And then just miscellaneous, I'm just gonna assume I'm gonna have miscellaneous fees, or expenses or whatever, each month. So for this category, 933.07 was our total. And then last but not least is cash envelopes. So these are all of my daily spending categories, what I carry in my, like, physically carry cash wise in my bag with me everywhere I go. I don't really care for, the actual amounts, just because I have like actual cash. So I'm not tracking it like that anymore. But I do make sure that the total amount is calculated, that you see here. So that brings my total expenses for the month of January to $43.99, leaving me with a total savings of $23.36 with $0 left over. So if you go to my savings, you'll see sinking funds. I do cash stuffings. So I did put 760 to my sinking funds. You'll see I put 500 to my rainy day fund, which is my emergency fund. And then I have a line item for rollover, which I am rolling over 1076 in my checking, my regular checking buffer account. But I have a line item here because I want this to zero out at the end of the month. So if I were actually to just put zero here, you'll see that this amount is going to be reflected in this column. So like, for example, let's just put zero. So that's pretty much my rollover amount, and how I figure out what I put in here. So I track I have a transaction log like I do with my regular planner. So I track all of my expenses, or what comes in, what comes out. And you'll see that there's, I have a cash flow chart to see how my bank account is doing. So you'll see that it was a little bit in the negatives. What you guys are wondering, how do you have an account, like a checking account, in the negatives? Like, this is where my credit card comes in. So I'll put some of my payments on my credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. But you'll see that, like, this is a reason why it's so important to have a buffer. So that's my cash flow chart. I like to track what's in my checking account or my buffer account, where all of my expenses pretty much come out. So I usually like to have at least like 3,000 in my account going into the new month. So in January, you'll see my starting balance was not that great, and it was because I put everything I had toward my debt and paying off my credit cards and my car and everything like that. So I'm okay with, starting at a lower amount this month. And we did kind of add back to that, and are in a good place with our ending account balance. So I just have more charts, more category breakdowns, of what I budgeted versus like what I actually spent. So that's kind of how my monthly budget shapes out. So that's enough of that. We'll just go into our February budget, and I actually am using my physical planner to help me with our February budget. All right, so let's just start out with our income. So again, I am salaried. I get paid bi-weekly. We're getting paid twice this month. It's just gonna be $2,500 as always. I'm hoping to get a raise. I'm in the middle of my performance review process, so wish me luck, you guys, that I get a decent raise. Overtime, I have been I've been working like crazy going into the new month as well. just working like 60, 65 hours a week, which is unheard of. I've never experienced that for the earlier months of the year. So I'm still gonna leave my overtime as zero, just for purposes of trying to live below my means, which is one of my financial goals for 2023. So we're just gonna skip that. Same with work subsidy, or a bonus. Well, actually, work subsidy. So I do get reimbursed for almost half of my gym membership, since it's a wellness benefit. So we're just going to put 20 there, and then interest zero. So 50/20 is what we're working with. And I actually, before I go any further, you guys, this is how I do kind of make sure that I'm doing a zero-based budget. So I'm gonna take my income minus savings and all of my expenses to make sure that it equals zero. So, okay, so we have 50/20 to work with. So sinking funds. Sinking funds, I always put not 760. Well, yeah, I always put 760 to my sinking funds. Rollover, will come back to this, because whatever ends up in this little column right here, that's how much we'll put in. Rainy day funds, we'll come back to this actually. So debt and periodic payments. So I'm not expecting to pay anything over here. Taxes though, I'm going to say taxes 125. So I actually have to file my taxes, but I changed my withholding actually. So I'm not expecting a refund this year. I'm probably expecting to pay around like $50 ish in taxes, or I guess. And then we have my filing fees that I need to account for. So 125, let's just start there. Moving into my bills, so my rent is $26.50. Utilities, I'm gonna put 100 for right now. I actually did get my utilities bill, which always comes out a couple weeks before the new month starts. But you guys, for some reason, they charged me like $235 for just electricity, and I do not live in a big apartment. It's just me. It's one bedroom. There's nothing crazy going on here. I haven't even cooked at all this month. I don't use AC or heat honestly, just because I'm cheap. So I was like, 235 cannot be right. So they're trying to figure out what the issue is. So I'm just going to leave it as 100 for right now, because I really hope I don't have to pay that amount. All right, moving to Verizon, which is my phone. I guess not just me, but my family phone. So phone plan, I guess. So that's going to be 153.72. Xfinity is my internet, which is $59.99 as always. All right, gym membership is $55. But again, technically it's like $35 because I do get this refund or reimbursement. Spotify is $9.99 and Apple is 99 cents. So we have 28 left to work with. So we'll move on to our variable expenses. So $650 is what I always put to giving. Transportation, we'll do 75. I have such a busy month that I don't really expect. I haven't really planned anything because I've been working weekends, you guys, which I know is really bad. So I have just been leaving my weekends free. And then miscellaneous, we're just gonna leave at 0. So let's see. So 1303.81 is what we have left to work with. We're gonna move down to my cash envelopes. We're gonna give cafe and pastries $40, except I actually really am loving exploring new cafes and bakeries and all of that stuff. So we might have to bump that up a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Church is getting 40. Dining, again, I don't want to just keep on rehashing this, but I've been working a lot, which means I have not really stepped foot in a grocery store, honestly. I'm gonna try to get better at that this month, but we're upping our dining a little bit to 240 this month. And again, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I don't do a lot of like takeout and all of that, but it's just how it is right now when you work so freaking much. All right, so gas, we're gonna leave gas at 40. Groceries, we're leaving groceries at 200. Household and supplies, we'll leave at 100. I do want to get new bedding, so we'll see how that goes. And then going out is getting 40. Let's see. Okay. Actually, no, gas is not 40 for the entire month. That's 40 bi-weekly, so 80 for the entire month. All right, so cash envelopes, total amount that we're going to be doing for that is 740, so I think I have everything filled out, which means 563.81 is what we are going to actually. No, I don't even want to do that. So we're going to put 500 to our rainy day funds, which is our emergency fund, and then we'll put 63.81 to leftovers. So that should total, or I guess that should zero out, and that's pretty much it for my February budget. So I guess we're done, you guys. I did it a little bit late. It's Sunday, February 5th. So we're a little bit late with that, but that's pretty much it, you guys. I guess at the end of the month, I'll come back and do a little mini numbers review. But yeah, hopefully this is going. It went well for the month of January, so I'm really liking this digital style in addition to my regular planner for this year. You'll see I have a couple of other tabs, just more breakdowns, more details. You'll see, for example, my sinking funds. Like, I'm going to be tracking my sinking funds in this spreadsheet as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, you don't have to do such a detailed budget. If you really like to keep it simple, you can do that as well, but that's kind of pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.